Well, hello everybody. It's Chris Johnstone. Hope you are having a fantastic Friday, and I'm just thrilled to have you here. So obviously, you can tell this is a little bit different than our regular webinar structure. This is our brand new format where it's been invite only. So you are here because you've been hand selected by your account manager to get this training. And obviously, it's going to be a little bit more interactive, maybe a little bit less webinar slides. Even though I have slides for you here today, we're starting the presentation off with a little bit of a whiteboard session, walking you through some very high-level stuff. So before we get into that, I just want to make sure that we're not having any technical issues. Well, you know, with live broadcasting being what it is, every so often we'll run into technical issues. So if you should be able to see the webcam, so you should be able to see me. Hey, and you should be able to obviously hear the audio, and we've got that all hooked up so that you'll be able to hear me while we're at the whiteboard. So if I could just get you to go into the GoToWebinar chat panel and just type yes in there, just to let me know that everything is okay and that everything is going on all right. Now I've got to pop this up in another window here. Scott, great to see you here. James, thank you so much. Bernadette, hello, welcome. Tara Lee, hello. Steve, awesome. Yes, okay, great. Fantastic. So it looks like everything is working well. So we're going to hop right in. This is an advanced session. So we're going to be going through some really high-level concepts here and then breaking them down into the start of our marketing plan. So we're going to get started here. And now I'm not going to be able to see the Q&A while we're going through the presentation, but ask your questions using the chat panel, and I'll be able to answer your questions. We'll do a Q&A session after we finish the whiteboard session, and then there's another presentation through our slide deck, and we'll do another Q&A session after the slide deck, okay? So any questions that you have while we're going through this process, I'll get them answered, and we'll chunk it down so that we can take this training session that we're doing and the second training session that we've kind of melded into one and do them all together. Our plan is to be about 45 minutes with this training, so just so that you can budget your time. I know the calendar invite said an hour, but we're going to try and do it in 45 minutes just to be cognizant of your time with it being a Friday afternoon and all those wonderful things, plus coming up to the end of the month, so I'm sure you're busy in your businesses. So it looks like we're good to go. Some housekeeping before we get started. Number one, we're recording the session. So the red light is on, everything should be good to go. So you will get a recording of this session and every session thereafter. So we have 6 of these mapped out, and they're all cohesive. They all run together. And then I have another 6 planned after that based on the feedback. If you like the sessions in the way that they're going, in the structure and the format, we need your feedback to keep this going. As long as you like the sessions, you're getting value from them, and you're actually implementing and getting results from them, we'll do the next tranche, essentially, of 6 sessions after that. So we're going to record them all. You're going to have access to all of them, and those that access is through your First National Account Manager. These are private sessions. So when you get the invites and you get the links to the actual sessions, please don't share the links. I know it's very weird to hear me say this, but don't post this on Facebook. Don't share this on social media. This is just for us. And what it allows us to do is to keep the sessions smaller so that I can interact with Q&A. And when you have questions, you can reach out to our support team and they can actually take the time to help you out. We're not inundated with all of the requests. A big thank you to First National. So the whole team got together and really helped orchestrate this whole new format. And I think it's a phenomenal thing for the broker community as well as for us here together to learn and share together. So thank you to First National for bringing us all together. And any questions that you have, make sure that you type those into the Q&A panel. All right. So it looks like, and we'll just check here. So for Mark, my screen is blank. Doesn't look like anybody else is having trouble with their screen. You may want to turn the viewer off and then turn the viewer back on, or restart the session and come back in, but it looks like everybody else can see the webcam. So we're good to go, and we are going to start on our planning session. So this is really exciting, and I'm so thrilled to bring this to you because this is a process that has helped me tremendously in my business, and I've helped walk other mortgage professionals through this process, and it's had a fantastic impact on them. And so I'm hoping that you're already doing some form of this in your business, and this is just going to help to crystallize it. And if you're not doing this in your business, this is probably one of the most valuable lessons that you can use to take your business from wherever it is right now to the next level that you want to get to in your business. This is really structured around planning out the growth to your business and to your organization and giving you a roadmap to follow. And the reason why we're starting with this lesson is because if you don't know where you're going, it's very hard for us to give you the marketing techniques that are going to get you there. So if we just started teaching the marketing without you having a roadmap of how to apply each marketing practice to your business, that leads to overwhelm, and overwhelm leads to a disconnect and non-implementation. And what we want is a very structured, focused implementation of what you're going to learn through this session. So we're going to start with a business mapping session first, and then give you the actual strategies. So I think that you can agree with me that the lifestyle, excuse me, the life cycle of your business essentially has three parts, right? In the mortgage business, there's essentially three main business drivers, and I've been lucky enough to actually get on half an hour or 1 hour consultations. We've done almost 1,000 of them, and those are one-on-one conversations with me and mortgage professionals, and I ask almost every single person, where do you get your business from? And what I've found is that there's three main drivers: past clients, referral partners, and marketing. And in almost every business, it breaks down like this. 70% of a business that has been in business for 4 years or longer, okay? So these are established mortgage professionals, not people that are just getting started in the industry, but people like us, right? People that have been in the business for a while, have well-established businesses. Those businesses, roughly 70% of their volume comes from past customers. Another 20% comes from referral partners, and then potentially another 10% comes from marketing or advertising. And normally that marketing and advertising is fragmented. They kind of turn it on, turn it off, and there's no real process or system behind it. It's just, I advertise because I feel like I should be advertising, but I make most of my money from my past customers referring me business. And I'm very interested, if you could type into the chat, is that accurate for your business? Do you get the majority of your business right now from past customers? Or even in the chat, just type in a split like 70, 20, 10. Let me know how much business you get from referrals, how much business you get from referral partners, and then how much business you get from marketing and advertising. I'd be really interested to hear what you've got going on in your business. And I won't use any names or give any information out during these webinars, but we will review that a little bit after this session and see how close we were with those averages. Now, I'd like to introduce to you right now a concept that I call the law of scale, okay? So if you're going to take your business, and to break this down, this is where we are right now, going to where we want to be in our business, right? The law of scale, and this is kind of like my own internal law, is that you must focus on the areas in your business that give the maximum amount of results for the minimum amount of effort, right? And you've got to start at essentially the bottom of that scale. So the activities that produce the highest return on investment, you do those first. You do them yourself until you get to a point where you have cadence, where you know the process of what needs to be done in order to make that happen on a consistent basis, and then you automate it. And you can automate that through systems like CRMs and databases, or you can automate them with people, right? You have a process, you know it's profitable, you know how much money you make from that process, and then you bring somebody in to take care of that process in the business, and you know that their activities are producing far more income than what you're paying that person to do the work in order to produce that system for you. Then you move to the next process in the business. Do it yourself until you have cadence, until you know what needs to be done. Then you put a system in place, and then you either automate it with a system or bring in a person to do that for you. And as you move down the scale, what ends up happening is you're able to achieve this incredible growth because you're automating the things that are producing the greatest results for you, right? So keep that in mind while we're going through this process, and think about your specific business. Where are the bottlenecks in this process that I'm going to walk you through, and how can you turn that into a system? How can you automate that? How can you hire that out to somebody that does that process for you once you've got it mapped out, so that you can go to the next level? I just want that to be running in the back of your mind while we're going through this process, right? So that's how you map out your plan, and how you achieve scale through people and through systems. Now we're going to get into this process. So breaking this down, we're going to do 2 exercises. We are going to map out where you are in your business right now. So this section right here at the top, I want you to go back after this session and look at 1 year of business in your business. And I want you to map out your business on this line here. And you can, take an empty piece of paper and write, the very simple 5 boxes that we've got here, and map out your business according to the layout that I'm about to give you, right? And then what we're going to do is say, okay, in the year coming from this point forward, what is my year going to be and what's my goal going to be, okay? So let me walk you through this very quickly, okay? This is where you are right now. So this is essentially a year ago from today. Where were you sitting as far as your total volume that you were doing in your mortgage business and your income, right? Then what happened over that year, and where did you end up as far as 2 numbers, your volume and your income? Okay, volume and income, and you're going to look at the last 365 days and see what happened. Okay, where did you start with volume and income? Where did you end up? Then I want you to look at your book of business. And this doesn't have to be 100% accurate, okay? But I want you to take a look at your business and know that there's really only 3 ways that you can generate a deal. You can generate a deal from your database, right? You can generate deals from your referral partners, or you can generate deals from your marketing, okay? I want you to go back over the last year of your business and assign a number to each one of these boxes. How many people were referrals? How many came from referral partners? And then how many people came from marketing, okay? I realize that this is not an easy task to ask you to do. I know how busy you are and the time of year it is right now. We're all very busy, right? This might be, I don't really know where you find the time to do this, but I can tell you that once you map it out on paper, it will be the most powerful asset that you have for growth in your business, because it gives you the starting point that you're going to launch from to take a very aspirational goal in the next year and actually make it happen. But if you don't know which areas of your business are providing the low-hanging fruit or the highest return on your time investment, it's very difficult for you to go out next year and say, okay, here's the exact things that I need to do in order to get me to my big goal, right? Otherwise, it's just kind of, you'll get wrapped up in the process of just closing loans and lose that big picture. And we need to stay focused on that in order to ultimately get you to the goal. How am I doing so far? Does this make sense? Am I on the right track? Does everybody understand how we're putting this process together? And again, very interesting to see these numbers. Now, let me give you some industry best practices so that you can fit yourself on the map and tell where you're doing really well and where there may be room for improvement within your business. So when you look at your database, over a yearly period, okay, for every 100 past customers that you have in your business, you should be closing 5 referred loans for every 100 people in your database, okay? So if you have, 100 people in your database over the last year, you should have 5 closed loans on the books per 100 people in your database, right? When it comes to referral partners, well, not all referral partners are created equal. But if you're looking at the mid to the high level of the marketplace as far as getting realtor referrals or referrals from financial planners, you should be getting 6 closed transactions per year for every 1 referral partner in your business, okay? And again, if you're getting less than that, what you want to do is analyze the quality of the partners that you have in your book sending you business. You might want to look at the old 80-20 rule and say, okay, I'm going to cut out the 20% at the bottom that aren't really, that send me 1 deal a year, and the time and the focus and the effort that I've been putting on those people, I'm going to reallocate that resource to somebody that can send me 6 deals a year. And if you think about it, there's really only 1 closed transaction every other month, right? We all know people in the industry that can provide that type of volume. So that's a benchmark. When you go out and you approach somebody as a realtor referral partner, are they going to be able to hit that base metric for you? Do they have enough volume in their business to support 6 deals a year coming across your desk? And if you're in a real estate office, that's a very interesting calculation to do based on volume, so that rather than just trying to be in the office and be with everybody and just shake hands with everybody, you can identify, okay, here's the 20 people in this office that I need to make sure that I'm in that office and I'm getting that business, so that you can attain that metric. Because again, when we start to scale out your growth, if you know that for every 1 relationship you're going to get 6 deals, and you want to generate 24 deals next year from your referral partners, you just need to go establish 4 relationships. It actually becomes pretty easy, and it's easy to schedule the actions that you need to do in your business in order to go out and get the results. But again, if we don't know the numbers and we don't have a plan, very hard to hit the goal, right? Now, the final thing is your marketing. And for every 100 leads that you generate through an online source or through any other type of marketing, regardless of where you're getting your leads from, if it's Facebook or if it's Google, Google leads are going to convert higher, Facebook leads are going to convert lower, but you'll be able to average all of your lead gen out. Over a year, for every 100 leads that you generate, you should be closing 5 transactions for every 100 leads that you put into the system. You should have an overall 5% conversion ratio from lead into funded transaction. Keep in mind, that's over a year, right? That's not the first 30 days. If you generate 100 leads in 30 days, you might not close 1, right? You might get 1 deal in 60 days. But as you work those leads over a 1-year time period, you should get that up to a 5% conversion ratio. So now, we have established where you're getting your business from. We've got solid metrics for how much business you should be getting per the activity in each one. And then what I want you to do is look at where your business was last year and then map out, okay, here's where I am today as far as volume. Obviously, I'm not here for my artistic abilities, right? So the ugly smiley face drawing over here is us where we are today, right? And then all the way over here, this is the income that you want to be making 1 year from today and what your year has looked like. Take a look at what's happened in your business in the year past and establish new goals for where you want your business to come from. Now, here's the cool thing about this. Your database is very hard to scale, right? That comes from closed transactions, and a lot of those closed transactions will already be coming from your database, be coming from new referral partner relationships that you set up, and from marketing. So as you scale your marketing and you scale your referral partners, this number is naturally going to grow. But it's very hard to get above that 5% number in your database. I'm going to teach you in just a minute here a 12-month calendar for what you should be sending out as far as a newsletter out to your past customers. Combine that with a quarterly phone call, and you'll get to that 5%. There's not a whole lot else you can do in that aspect of your business to increase that number. So you can do this math very quickly. You can say, okay, I've only got 200 past clients, so I'm only going to be able to count on 10 deals from my past customer database. My goal requires me to put an extra 30, so I need to go out and get 20 deals from my referral partners and 10 deals from my marketing. right? So you can very quickly establish that as a baseline that's somewhat static, and then play with these two numbers to get yourself to a point where you're like, okay, I got a plan. I can go out and do that. I need to go get X number of realtors to fill in the dollar volume that I'm going to get from my referral partners. There we go. And then based on that activity, the rest needs to be filled in with my marketing. And this is where you can cut through all of the clutter that exists online with all the advertising, like CRM marketing systems and Facebook ads and Google marketing. And I'm a huge advocate for Google marketing systems, but if that doesn't fit into what you need in your marketing, it's not the right plan for you, right? And this process allows you to navigate yourself through the next year with very, very focused action and clarity on where it is that you want to go so that you can actually get there, right? So step number one, establish where you've been over the last year. Step number two, I want you to map out a plan for where you're going to go. Step number three is add the volume per system, okay? So in here, you're going to write, okay, 70% of my business is going to come from my past customer database. I personally think that number should be lower because I don't think that you should be reliant on something that you don't have full control over, right? But you're going to map out your own plan. You're going to put your numbers inside these boxes, have the goal, and that's your set goal. This is your plan for the next year. Then I want you to map your goals out yearly, quarterly, monthly, and weekly, and break your big number down, obviously, into quarters, and then months, and then weeks, right? Then I want you to set a calendar appointment with yourself that is non-movable. Chasing deals, doing all of the other activities that I know that you have to do cannot interfere with that appointment. That appointment is just like an appointment with a customer that comes into your office. It's an hour of focused time that you have to spend with that person, but you're scheduling that out just for you, right? And that hour is spent on making sure that you are actually hitting your metrics, okay? And this is your review. I've got an R on there because that is your review time. You have to set a calendar appointment with yourself to review your goals. And sometimes it's hard to look at. Sometimes it's phenomenal to look at because you'll either be ahead of pace or you'll be behind pace. But if you're not looking at it on a weekly basis, it's very difficult for you to change your actions in your business in order to make sure that you actually get to your goal. So you've got to schedule it out, and then you've got to review it, and you've got to look at it, right? Now, there's one other thing that makes this calculation very easy, and then we'll get into the actual structured PowerPoint presentation on this. There are two numbers that I want you to figure out as you're going through this process. That is your gross per deal, which is essentially tied to volume, and then your net per deal, okay? You should know in your business, on average, over the last year, how much gross income, on average, you brought for each funded transaction in your business. Then look at, you know, your business structure, all of the other expenses that come in and all that kind of stuff, and then calculate out your net per deal, right? Because when you set a big goal and you look at a volume target and an income target, when you know what you're making on a net per deal basis, you can take what you want as far as your income, divide it by that, and you can tell yourself exactly how many deals you need to produce. And then you can use that to map out the specific number of deals that you want from each box, and then measure that over the time periods that you've got, right? So that is one of my only, well, this is the only time I have ever taught this live. I've worked on presentations for it before, and it's something that has completely changed our business. So I hope that that served you, and I hope that you found that super valuable, or very valuable, I should say. And I would love your feedback on what you thought of that and whether that was helpful for you or not. So at this point, I finally get to shut off the webcam, and we're going to get into the actual PowerPoint, where I'm going to show you a 12-month plan for marketing to your database so that your database is producing the 5% for every 100 people that you have in your database, all right? And before we do that, we are going to get into the Q&A here on this session, and I may as well keep the camera on while we do that part, okay? So this is awesome. Mo says, excellent. Thank you so much. Candace says, yep. All right, so wow, okay, so some of these numbers are fantastic. We've got a 50-50-0, so 50% from past clients, 50% from referral partners, 0 from outbound marketing. We've got a 60-35-5, excellent. We've got a 95% from past customers, 5% from referral partners. That means no marketing. We've got a 50-40-10, an 80-20-0. Wow. And then a majority is word of mouth and past clients, 80%, 20% from marketing, 70-20-10. There we go, right on our numbers there. And great to see you here. Whoever left that comment there, 60-20-20. And the reason that I'm reading these out is I think it's nice for us to know the peer group that you have in this training session is phenomenal. So it's nice for us to see really, you know, what's happening across the country and how businesses are being run. We've got another one here, 60-20-20, which is a great mix. 20% coming from marketing. That's great. I consider that very strong. 10-85-5. 85% coming from realtor referral partners or financial planners. 85% referral partners. That's great. 80-20-0, 90-10-0. 30% past customers, 60% from referral partners, and 10% from marketing. This is beautiful. And the thing that I'm getting from this, again, this is a very high-level group because you know your numbers. You would be shocked at how many people I asked that question to, and they said, I can find that out for you. or there was a long pause and it was like, give me a minute, let me ask, right? So the fact that you know your numbers and you've got them out there, I mean, that's half the battle. That is fantastic. So great question. Love it. Excellent. Very helpful. Thank you, Christopher, Jimmy, Mo, Candace. Thank you for all the kind words. Okay, so let's get into the actual PowerPoint and give you a process. Now, this is specific to a newsletter, what we're going to be teaching here, okay? So this doesn't have to be put into a newsletter format. Like, you don't have to call it a newsletter. You can just call it marketing. You can just market to your past customers and just put it out as regular email content that you're placing out there. But some people choose to brand it as a newsletter, so it's got a little bit more of a format behind it. But again, that's completely up to you. So what we're going to do here is we are going to turn on the screen sharing, which is going to shut off the webcam. And if I could just get a little bit more support and just let me know that you can see my screen and that everything is okay. Just type yes into that. Okay, I'm getting some feedback that our mic got scratchy once I made the move there. That should fix the microphone. So type yes in there if you can, if the mic is okay. Wow, a whole screen full of yeses. That is awesome. Okay, so here we go. This is our, or what I call our digital marketing blueprint. And I've called this your monthly activator. Okay, and the reason why I called it the monthly activator is because every month you're activating your past clients and your past customers to send you their referrals. And it's amazing what happens when you build consistency into this process and people get these emails or phone calls from you on a regular basis. I can't state how important it is that the regular frequency of this marketing goes out. It's very important that it happens every month. It happens at the same time every month as far as the date that you send it out. It may be on the 1st, it may be on the 2nd. What works for your business is, in my opinion, what you should do. But once you pick a time of month in order to present that marketing to your database, make sure it's at the same time, because people will come to expect that email from you and the value that you're going to send them every month And you'll find that people actually look out for your emails, which is definitely going to help your open rates and all that good stuff. So we've got these in, there we are. Okay, so when you send out one of these messages, there's essentially a 6-part process that goes into creating a good activator or message that goes out every month. From this point forward, we'll call it a newsletter, but everybody, this is a very high-level group. That it's just marketing that goes to the database. We'll call it a newsletter. In the newsletter, there should be a monthly topic, and that gives you a reason to reach out, right? It gives you that, hey, here's what's going on, and the monthly topic that goes along with that. Right? After that, oh, okay, hold on. I apologize. I'm still getting some scratchy on the audio here. Give me just 1 second here. There we go. Test, 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 test. If it's still scratchy, type in S for scratchy, 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 or okay. Still scratchy. All right, so what we're going to do here is a quick and testing, testing. Am I still scratchy? All right. Again, I can't tell you how much I value your time. I apologize sincerely for the technical issues. It's beyond my control, but we're good now. Okay, so we're going to hop right back into this, okay? So our best practices, we've got to pick a monthly topic. That gives us a reason to be reaching out to the database every month and why people will look out for it. Now, what we're doing then is we're picking something that people actually want to know about on a regular basis, which is your local market board stats. So typically anybody that owns a home is interested in what's happening with their equity, right? What home prices are doing in their local marketplace. And this is great because you can make it regional specific, therefore your readership is going to be higher. I don't recommend, you may throw some Canadian statistics in there and talk about a broader market, but people will engage better with your messaging if you give them local content about what's happening in the local marketplace. And it's as simple as, connecting with the local board, and publishing their information, or just waiting until there's that standard monthly news article that comes out in the local paper as far as what's happening with prices, and kind of give them a year-over-year average, like here's what's happening compared to last year at this time. People love that type of information, and it's valuable to them because it directly relates to the home that you helped them finance, right? So it's just good information. Now, it's also a lot of fun to showcase a highlight home or two, and these are either houses that are on the market or houses that have recently sold within the marketplace. And we have kind of found that there's this rule. It's either the very, very top end of the market or somewhat just a little bit below the median. So it's either a great deal in a great marketplace, or it's a home that people like looking at because it's got, lots of nice bathrooms and kitchens and stuff like that. So a highlight home should be a home that people are either interested in because of the value that it offered and that it was a great deal, or a highlight home in the fact that it was nice to look at, probably, out of, the standard price range, but a cool house. Then showcase a local event. Tie yourself into what's happening in the community and, either feature an event that you've sponsored or that you've been a part of, or some type of local event that's happening in your local marketplace. Highlight any mortgage news that happens to be going on at that time. And then at the bottom, a very strong call to actions for referrals and social engagement. So what you want at the bottom is, hey, if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or refinance, please forward this email along with a recommendation to Google me or check out my information, or to give me a call. Another thing that we've seen that has been done really, really well is implementing in your email signature a service that allows people to book an appointment with you. So there's a ton of these out there. The one that we're currently using is called Time Trade, and whatever calendar program it is that you're using to schedule your time, you hook it up to that, and when people click the link in the email signature that you're sending out, they can book an appointment with you right through that. So when somebody forwards your newsletter to their friends can click on the link at the bottom of the email and schedule an appointment to get on the phone with either you or a member of your team, and it increases the amount of referrals that you can get from your marketing as you're sending it out. So again, those are very useful. Some metrics. You should be getting 1 referral for every 100 contacts in your database every time you send this out. So again, if you take those numbers of closing 5 transactions per every 100 people in your database over the year, those numbers kind of work together, right? You're looking for a 25% open rate on your emails, and you're looking at about a 5% plus click-through rate on the email content. Hopefully yours are higher than that, but that gives you kind of an industry standard as far as, you know, what an average business would do as far as email marketing. So you can use that as a benchmark as to whether you're high or whether you're low with the marketing that you're sending out. Now, this is how we do our planning session. So in January, obviously, you're doing New Year's financial goals. In February, some home energy savings tips. And these are the topics or the reasons why you're sending the newsletter. And this is the first part, essentially, of the newsletter that you're sending out. In March, the standard format, you don't necessarily have a topic to send that month. You're just sending out the board statistics as to what happened in the marketplace in the standard newsletter format without the overall topic. April is home maintenance, and these are, you know, either, you know, prepping your home for the spring or prepping your home for the different seasons of the year, which again is just helpful for people because they need reminders to, you know, clean their gutters and change their furnace filters and just the average home maintenance. People like reminders of that stuff. May is your standard format. And then June is a broad market analysis. And this is where you take an overall picture of, hey, let's look at the last year in the marketplace and what's happened as far as real estate, or you can take that and go as broad as you would like. You can, you know, forecast it over a 5-year trend or a 10-year trend and just give people like literally 3 paragraphs. You know, here's what happened, here's what I think about it, and, you know, here's what we think may potentially, you know, be going on in the marketplace. It's just a very brief little synopsis, and you don't even have to state your opinion as to what's going on, just a presentation of the facts and allow people to kind of interpret the data however they would like. Just be very, you know, reputable with where you're pulling your data from and let people pull from that. July, always nice to throw out a nice Canada Day message to your past customer database, keeping in mind you know, those times of the year when people are networking with all of their friends and their family and their coworkers and having the big barbecues and having the big events, you want to be ahead of that event with your marketing to your database so that you are top of mind when they are at the event, because those are the times when they're getting together with friends and family and they're talking about what's going on. Oh, we're thinking about buying a house. Oh, that's great. You should be talking to my mortgage professional. I'll send you their latest newsletter. You can book an appointment, right? So you'd see how this all kind of comes together. August is our standard format. September is our fall planning issue. October is money tips leading into November and December, so making sure that you've got automated savings and, you know, your standard stuff that goes along with that. November is our standard format, and December is obviously Christmas, right? So those are essentially the 12 mapped out sessions that you can put together for your database. I have seen people sit down with a structured time period of potentially half a day, or maybe during a weekend retreat or something where you go away to work on your business. I've seen people write an entire year's worth of content in one day, program it into the business so that it goes out at the appropriate time, but all of the content is done in one big chunk, and then it's just as simple as, finding the market data from that month, punching the link and the numbers into the message and sending it out. You can get your newsletter done in 15 minutes to a half an hour when it needs to be sent out. So that's another way that you can approach that. So with that, if you'd like to go through any of this stuff in detail or talk about the business planning for your business and really kind of how to approach that plan of mapping out the 3 parts of your business, especially if you're looking for growth in any one specific area and you're looking for a specific strategy for just that part of the business, I would say that my specialty is in the marketing side of things and helping you gear that up. Feel free to book a free consultation. So cwjstone.com/analysis, and these are free 30-minute business planning sessions, and they are given to you on behalf of First National Financial as just another value add as being accepted into this program. So if you'd like to take advantage of one of those, just go to cwjstone.com/funnel. Both of those links will work, /analysis or /funnel. I apologize, I couldn't see the link because the GoToWebinar control panel is covering all of that. So any questions on that section of the content here? Just give me a minute here. Okay, so I can see the questions. There we go. Okay, all right. Awesome, got it. And again, thank you all for your patience while we got that microphone fixed. I am very cognizant of your time, so I appreciate that. So the question here from Bernadette, are you suggesting to have all 6 of these items or just pick 3? The answer to that is I suggest having all 6. You're going to touch on some topics that some people find interesting, and then other topics that other people don't find interesting, but they still read the newsletter because they like, the board statistics, but not necessarily the topic of, home energy savings or whatever it is that you're sending out for that specific month. So yes, I'm suggesting 6, but I will add a caveat to that you should produce the amount of content that you can get produced and get out the door and get implemented. A short newsletter with 1 tip is much better than a half-finished email newsletter that never gets sent to anybody. So keep that in mind. It can be short and simple. The whole key point there is to actually get it out to the database, because that's what's going to generate the referrals for you. Next question, is there a template for the monthly newsletter? So we don't specifically have a I copy this, because every time we've tried to do that, it breaks going into all of the different CRMs that everybody has. So we've found that it's better to just kind of map out the planning and the best practices. So take those 6 chunks and then build them into whatever email newsletter program it is that you're using. So it could be Constant Contact, it could be Aweber, it could be Infusionsoft. They all work a little bit differently, but they all have templates that you can pick, and then just add each of those sections into the overall template. And what I'll be doing is I'll be turning our slide deck here into a PDF that you'll be able to get access to on the recordings page. So when we upload the recording to the website, you'll also get this slide deck as a PDF, so that you have the best practices and the planning for the session. So that answers Jerome's question. Will we get a copy of the PowerPoint? Yes, absolutely you will. Sandra, great to see you here. Hope all is well, and thank you for the kind words and the feedback. Do you know of any CRM systems, asks Irene. Irene, reach out to the organization that you're with and ask that question. I'm not familiar enough to be able to make any type of public comments or recommendations on that kind of stuff. I know a lot of third-party providers, but before you go down that route, I would definitely talk to your organization and see what type of solutions that they have for you. I'm a huge Infusionsoft user. We're actually on the agency side of things with the brand Connection Incorporated. We're an Infusionsoft partner, so we can give away Infusionsoft without the upfront fee. So if anybody's interested in Infusionsoft, we can hook you up there, but it's not my first recommendation. You know, it would probably be the person that you are actively doing business with should be the first person that you go to before you start looking at those third-party options. From Tiffany, Tiffany says, how do you suggest laying out the newsletter to keep readers interested, click through to your site for the resources? So what we have found recently in our business, that by adding buttons into the email copy rather than just hyperlinks, we've been able to increase our click-through rates by about 4.5%. And to us, that's tremendous, a tremendous improvement over what we were getting. So buttons where you want people to click or in between the different sections, having a button there to go to your website or to book that free planning session with yourself is definitely a great way to go about it. As far as the layout, I like newsletters that have one image, one piece of content, one image, one piece of content, and the images kind of map up with the content that goes in them. But I think, again, it's one of those things where whatever you like is probably going to resonate well with your audience. So I would take a look through those templates, see the one that you think, oh, wow, I would read that, use that as your baseline template, and go from there. That's probably going to get you the best result. Question here from Bernadette. With the proliferation of spam emails, are newsletters still effective with the mortgage brokers that you have worked with? So Bernadette, yes, absolutely. Especially, I mean, your emails aren't spam. Absolutely not. These people have gone through a transformational experience with you in getting their home loan and their financing through you. You've built obviously a great rapport with these people, and they know you, they like you, they trust you. And when you email them, they know your name, your face, your voice. That constitutes relationship marketing rather than just spam. So Gmail is phenomenal at putting spam where it belongs in the spam folder and allowing your message to go through to your customers. And you'll be able to tell whether or not you're being well received by your audience by your open rate. So if you've got a 25% plus open rate, you're doing a great job with your audience. Anything less than that, and you may look at, you know, cleansing your database a little bit. You know, if you send out 4 email newsletters and you've got somebody in your list that hasn't opened any of them, you might want to just take that person out of the list and only send it to the people that are actually engaging and reading it. But definitely, email marketing is still kind of if you look at it from a contact ratio of having 25% of people open your message, compare that to a Facebook ad where our baseline metric for success is a 1% click-through rate. So if we can get a Facebook ad where the audience that we're advertising to, if 1% of the people that see that ad click on it, that's considered a win in Facebook's world. Those aren't necessarily our metrics. Facebook considers an ad that's doing better than a 1% click-through rate to be doing really well. So if you look at the difference in engagement on those two types of avenues to reach your clients and customers, email marketing gets a far better response and puts you in front of a much higher quality audience that's going to actually refer you business. So that's a great question. Hopefully that answer helps bring some clarity to that for you. So from Steve says, how do you handle permission to send emails to your database and also opting out? So great question, Steve. So you should absolutely be using some form of email marketing service that requires an opt-out on every email that's sent. So you'll see on every single email that you get from us, at the bottom, there's a big privacy statement, and in it is a big unsubscribe link and if you click on that link, you can unsubscribe from our emails at any time off any email message. That should be a feature of whatever tool it is that you're using to send your email. You have to give people the ability to unsubscribe, and in my opinion, it needs to be automated. As far as permission to send emails to your database, definitely do a read-up on the Canspam Act, and knowing that you must have expressed consent from people to send them emails, especially business to personal. They need to have some form of expressed consent. So if you don't have expressed consent from your database, you've just closed their loan. You've got to look, that is a business process. I don't want, what's the right word for that? It is a business process that must be addressed within the organization, because every time you get into funding a deal with somebody and sending a lot of communication back and forth, the very first step should be, hey, I need you to opt in to be able to get email communication from me. I'm just going to send you a link. I need you to click on it and just verify that I'm able to send you email communications. And I would almost say that it's probably best practice that once you complete the transaction, when you're asking for the 5-star rating and review online, you also reiterate the ability to send them emails and have them opt in. Again, that might be a little bit overkill, but erring on the side of caution is never a bad thing, right? So definitely do your own research into what's involved in that, but those are some best practices for you. Jimmy says, do you recommend MailChimp? Yeah, absolutely. It's great service, great deliverability rates, and it's super easy to use. So yes, absolutely I do. Bernadette, you're absolutely welcome. Awesome, thank you for the kind words. And that brings us to the end of our Q&A. So everybody, thank you so much for spending your time here with us today. The webinar is recording, so as long as there's no issues as we're shutting down here, you will get a copy of the recording and you will get a copy of the slide deck. You will be getting that from your First National account manager. Probably won't be out till early next week, kind of like Tuesday, Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that as well. And again, a huge thank you to First National Financial and to your account managers for putting this event together. They really do want to see you grow your business, and they're behind you every step of the way. So again, thank you to First National for sponsoring this event. And with that, this is Chris Johnstone signing off. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next month for our second installment of our session here. Have a great weekend, everybody.